I am recording, and you should be able to see my screen. We've got 25 members in here, and we've got 25. God, I'm not used to people actually. If I could just get y'all to talk, y'all turn your videos on. I don't have ceiling fans. I only got 3 or 4 foreheads. I got one class. The whole class is foreheads. The whole class is this right here. The whole class. It's like I'm talking to a bunch of foreheads. All right. So anyway, and I'm not going to get anything from y'all, so I might as well just forget it. Here's the first one. This is R2-63-15. R2-53-16. Is this 15? I'm sorry, 15. Is this a test question? Yes, it is the piecewise function. I told you you'd have one of these on the test. F of x is equal to negative 4x minus 13 for x is less than negative 5. And 5 between negative 5 and less than 5 or greater than equal to negative 5 and less than 5, and then x plus 8, x is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, so there is our question. And we're going to draw a BA graph. Negative 4x, that means negative 4 over 1, which means left to right down, 4 over 1. And a y-intercept is 0, negative 13. This means y is equal to 5. Y is equal to 5 means it's parallel with the x-axis. In this, you have a slope of 1 positive, left to right up, slope of 1 over 1, and a y-intercept of 8. Okay, so negative 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And we've got a negative slope going like this. So 4 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 over. And it says that we can use anything less than negative 5. Well, heck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's negative 5. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right, so I can go from negative 5. I can use those numbers. So I'm going to draw a line like that. And I will take my handy dandy. We'll make this negative 4x minus 13. X is less than negative 5, so that means we got an open circle there. And x is less than negative 5, so we're using all these x's. Okay, so that's that one. Let's go with a purple. From negative 5, and it's got a closed circle. This is y is equal to 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's supposed to be right in here or somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we got a closed circle parallel with the x-axis. Go into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we got an open circle. And that's that. And then we got a, let's go with green. This is positive 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got a positive slope, 1 to 1, 45-degree angle. But we can only use x is greater than or equal to 5, so we can only use these numbers. 1 to 1, 1 to 1. So it looks something like this. And that's what it should look like. Now it's by hand, so it's a little bit rough, but that's what it should look like. You should have a line coming down, then here to here, and then here to here. And let's go and look at the question. Wherever it went, where did it go? I have to find the questions, I'm sorry, there we go. So h of -6, excuse me. Where is -6? It's below negative what? 5. So that would be -6 times -4 is 24. Somebody take 24 and minus 13 for me. 11? Or, let's see. No. 24, 11. Yeah, 11, wouldn't it? Would it be 11?
Yeah, it's 11.
And that should be correct. And h of O, that's going to be right here, is 5. And h of 5, which is right here, is 5 plus 8. I don't have any idea, 13.
Yeah.
And h of 9 would be right here, so 9 plus 8 is 17. I thought they were going to ask you to draw it. Okay. So they didn't ask you to draw this one. They just asked you to plug and chug. But as you can see, that's how you would do it if you're asked to draw it. And this is just plug and what? Plug and chug. You got to plug it in the right one, though. This is -6, so it goes in this one. This is +5, so it goes in this one. I'm sorry, 0. And it goes in this one. And then this is greater than 5. Both of these is 5 and 9, so it goes in that one right there. And that is a test question, so beware. Next. And I'm going to delete that one. This one says R4, 65, 16. R4, 65, 13. R4, 65, 13. First of all, is it a test question?
Most likely.
Yep, it is a test question. Because half of you will shut down because it's a word problem. But all you got to do here is find your points. So I'm going to put here, find your points. And I'm going to, I'll go to the whiteboard in just a minute. A farmer buys a tractor for $147,000. And you laugh and you say, well, that's a misprint. Oh, no, that's not a misprint. A tractor, a new tractor of any size is at least $150,000 and assumes that it will have a trade-in value of crap after 10 years. Okay? The farmer uses a constant rate of depreciation, blah, 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 blah. Constant is the key word. So I'm going to write down the 2 points. 0, comma, 147,000. And after 10 years, you got a selling rate of 89,000. And there is a constant, which means linear depreciation. This is T. This is value. This is T. This is value. Somebody answer this question. When you buy something new, how long have you had it? 0.
0.
Right? When you buy something, it's still on the lot. You haven't owned it, so it's 0. And the value is 147,000. You own it for 10 years. Crap. Now, if this was a Dodge pickup truck, it would be worth $20,000 and 15 years old. Anyway, I'm trying to find a truck like mine, and I don't want to pay $15,000 for a truck like mine, but evidently Dodge is not.
I've been seeing people selling a lot of vehicles, used ones, and they're not far from what they were new.
Yeah. And I don't want a new truck because you have to have a engineering degree to work on a new truck now. And plus the new truck with all the computer crap doesn't work on the farm very well with all the rough, it doesn't work on the farm very well. So that's why I want just a regular old truck. Anyway, there's your 2 points. X sub 1, Y sub 1, X sub 2, Y sub 2. How do you calculate the slope? Y sub 2 minus Y sub 1 over X sub 2 minus X sub 1. Y sub 2 minus Y sub 1 over X sub 2 minus X sub 1. Plug and chug. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to let y'all do that. Plug and chug.
$57,000 over 10.
I have no idea, but if you say that, I have no idea. I'm going to go ahead and plug and chug. Let's see. This is Y sub 2 is 89,000.
No, never mind. I did it the wrong order.
Minus 147,000.
Negative 57,000.
Over depreciation is always negative.
Yeah.
10 over 0. And it's going to be negative something over 10. Somebody do that in your calculator because I'm not going to, let's see, 89,000 would be 90,000. So it would be 52,000 or what?
58.
58,000. Thank you. And move the decimal 1 place over. So the slope is negative 5,800. Somebody check my math. Is that what y'all got?
Yeah.
So M is equal to negative 5,800. So now I want an equation. Y minus Y sub 1 is equal to M times X minus X sub 1. Plug and chug. I'm going to pick a point. Why am I going to pick 0 and 147? Because 0 is our friend, because even somebody that's non-sentient can add or subtract 0. So that's why we picked 0. It's easy math. This is X sub 1, Y sub 1, 147, negative 5,800. and 0. Y minus 147,000 equals negative 5,800x. Bring this over. Plus 147,000. So y is equal to negative 5,800x plus 147,000, and that is the equation for your depreciation. So you can put in, what is that car, what is that tractor worth after 20 years? Ain't gonna be worth squat. So you would do 5,800. Let me get my handy dandy calculator. So after 20 years, negative 5,800 times 20 plus 147,000. Boy, ain't that make you happy? Why? Well, what do tractors do? Somebody tell me what a tractor does. Cruise the mall?
Works.
It works. So by the time you work it 20 years, it ain't going to be.
Probably not going to have a whole lot of life left in it.
Say again?
It's probably going to not have a whole lot of life left in it after that.
Exactly. That's why Chevys don't depreciate, because nobody uses them for work trucks.
I don't use mine.
What?
I don't use mine for work.
There you go. That's why they're called bow ties. I'm picking on you, Mr. Boston. You can take it. You tough.
Yeah, I've never hauled anything with mine.
Exactly. All right, let's move on. Oh, what do we get here? V is equal to negative 5,800x plus.
Actually, I drive it. It only has 44,000 miles on it.
Mine is, I'm just getting the oil changed in it, is 590,000. No,
Oh my God.
490,000.
What year is it?
It's a 2004, but it's got the 5.9 in it. So that thing will run forever as long as I keep the OIL changed.
Wow.
And check. Oops. Well, I don't know what's wrong with it, but that's the answer. Whatever. There's the difference. I didn't put T. I'm sorry. Now, would I count that wrong on a test? No. But try to remember to put the variable they want. I didn't do that. I'm sorry. And 6 years. We didn't do 6 years. Can somebody multiply? I'll do it. Let's do negative 5,800 times 6 plus 147,000. 112,200. That's a pretty good question. I like that question. Some people are looking up depreciation. Some people don't even know what it means. It's your parents' fault. All right, next. R4
drive car
7820. What?
Basically, buy car new, drive car 10 years, try sell car not valuables. It was.
Yeah, that's depreciation. All right, this one is reaction time. How many feet will your car travel? And this is important. I think everybody should know this, because we have people that think they're important that drive like 60 in a school zone. They think they're important, but they're not. D of R is equal to 45R plus 22 over 44. And what is the reaction distance a car will travel if you are traveling at 5 miles an hour? Plug and what? Plug and chug. So if you're traveling, let me write this down, 5, 20, 50, and 65. If you are traveling at 5 miles an hour, let's say you're riding through the parking lot of the school, and that's going to be 45 times 5. So 45 times 5 and plus 22 divided by 44. It's going to take you about 5 to 6 feet. 5.61 feet to hit the brakes. When you see a kid run across the road, it's going to take you 5 to 6 feet before you hit the brakes. All right, do the next one. 20 miles per hour. 45 times 20 plus 22 over 44. So for 20 times 45 plus 22 divided by 44. If you're traveling at 20 miles per hour, it's going to be 21 feet before you hit the brakes. Let's get to the important people now. Let's get to those people that don't think they need to go the speed limit through a school zone. That irritates me. We got school, they're at the end of McClure Road, and all these people that think they're important. They drive through that school zone like a bat out of Hades. Makes me so mad. 45 times 50 plus 22 over 44. So for those important people, 45 times 50 plus 22 divided by 44. It's going to take you 52 feet, 51.64 feet to react, to hit the brakes. And that's not even counting the skids. There's another formula for the skid marks. Tell you how fast you're going or how long it will take you to stop after you hit the brakes. And the last one, for the real important people, what is it? 65. 65. 45 times 65 plus 22 over 44. 45 times 65. Excuse me, I got the COVID. Plus 22 equals divided by 44. Okay, for the president of General Motors and all you know, all the important people, it's going to take you 67 feet before you hit the brakes. That kid's dead. Well, you ain't even counting after you hit the brakes. Remember stuff like that when you're going through a school zone. So the first one was Let's see. High, it says round to the nearest tenth. So that's going to be 5.6 feet. That's going to be 20 or 21 feet. That's going to be 51.6 feet. And 67 feet. And what does that look like? You start off low and then it gets bigger, bigger and bigger. I don't know. It is, what variable, what is the R? Is that to the first power or the second power? So the first power. So that means it's a straight line. So it's not Bravo. It's a positive slope. So these right here, I would say it's probably going to be a shallow line, maybe Charlie, but you can put it on your, graphing calculator and see. Okay, then it's going to be either delta or alpha. Let's see, what is it's going to be at the origin. So it's at the origin. The slope is going to be close to 1. Okay, it's delta. That's a 45-degree angle. It's delta.
It's A.
Oh my gosh. Now this is a little bit too much. Interpret the meaning of the slope in the context of this problem. For every 1 mile per hour increase in speed, the braking distance increases by 1 foot, almost 1 foot. It would be, what's 45 divided by 44? It's around 1. I'm going to say 1 foot. Okay, can you go negative 15 miles per hour? So where does your domain start?
0.
0. When you're in a car, what does your speedometer say? And you just crank it up. I'm sorry. You start
0.
the engine. It's at 0. So 0, comma, technically, you can go, well, some of you guys, y'all can go 500 miles per hour in your car. That's another indicator, girls. If you ever in a conversation, like with a group of people, and you say, oh, we went to Disney World last year, blah, blah, blah. How long did it take to drive down there? Oh, it took about 6 hours. There'll always be a guy in the group that will go, I could have got down there in 3.5 hours. Run the other direction, okay? The other direction. I don't care what he looks like. He's a jerk. All right, so here we go. I'm going to say infinity, even though a car cannot go infinity miles per hour, unless some teenage guys believe they can go infinity. But I'm going to put infinity. Actually, the domain, in my opinion, would be like 100 miles an hour, but, cavemen can do wonders with cars, so, and parentheses. And that needs to be a bracket. Now, I disagree with a little bit of this question because I think somewhere you would have to say that there is a limit on your speed. Yeah, I thought that would be incorrect. So let's say 65 because they said the highest is 65 miles per hour. So let's say that. Okay, I have no idea what, unless they give you some kind of 65 is the highest. So I have no idea what they want. Anybody want to take a guess?
I think you had it right the first time. Maybe you typoed something.
I'm sorry, what?
The first answer, 0 to infinity. I think it was right. Maybe you just typoed something.
Okay, I know that was Mr. Lynch talking, and I'm trying to listen to you, Mr. Lynch, but it was kind of mumbled. I'm sorry. Please don't get mad at me. I appreciate you communicating. Let me try parenthesis. Wait a minute. Well, 0, you do start at 0, so 0 to infinity was the correct. What did I do wrong? I must have had a bracket on 0, which, you could argue which come first, chicken or the egg. You could argue that 0 should have a parenthesis on it. And I would say, no, not really, because 0, you're not moving. So you are at 0 miles per hour. So I don't agree with the parenthesis at 0. Now, the reasoning behind that parenthesis is that you're not at a reaction distance at 0 miles per hour. So that may be why they're putting a parenthesis on 0. So, potato, potato, are you moving? No, you're at 0 miles per hour. But if you're moving at 0 miles per hour, do you have a reaction distance? No, and that's why they're putting a parenthesis on 0. I'm not going to worry about that as far as on a test question, but now you know to put on this, you need to put a parenthesis on 0 versus a bracket. Okay? Next question. Okay, R5, 13, 3. R5, 13, 3. R5, 13, 3. All right, we need to refresh a little bit. I'm going to send you something through the chat. I sent it to my 110s and 109s this morning, and I'm going to send it to you. If you had me for 109, you've already got this, and you're already familiar with what I'm going into. This is a review session we're fixing to go into. Somebody give me a nod or a hand. Did you get that parent graphs? I just sent you in the chat. See if it's in the chat. Parent graphs. Okay, we got 2 people saying they got it. Go ahead and click on it. Print it out. Go grab it, or if you don't have a printer, just look at it. These, Mr. Bostic, did I teach you these in 109?
Yes.
Okay. And if you had me, Louisiana, you remember these? I drilled this in your head along with completing the square. So if you've never seen this before and you had 109 or 110, you didn't get your money's worth. All right. So what do you got to remember with these things? You got to remember that if you have x to the first power, that's a line. If you got x to the second power, that's a parabola. If you have x to the third power, you have an odd function that looks like that. X to the even power starts to square off on the bottom of the parabola. The higher the degree, the more it starts squaring off. The x to the odd power, the more it starts to flatten out. Versus this one right here. The higher the power, the more this middle section starts to flatten out. I don't know why it just froze there. Sometimes I have to click the mouse on it to get it to unfreeze. I don't know why. X, square root of x, looks like this. I don't know who that is. 803, ain't that low country? 803, area code, ain't that the low country?
That's Columbia.
Oh, is that Midlands? 864 is low country, isn't it? No.
843. Low country.
843, that used to be our area code all over, no, 803. 803 used to be our area code all over the state until we got transitioned into 3. Somebody's calling me from Columbia. Might be a student. All right, probably fussing about something. Absolute value. This one's easy to remember. Absolute value, absolute vodka. Value and vodka, V. 1 over X. Looks like half a volcano. 1 over X squared. A full volcano. And so on. This, you should all know. This should be like second nature to you. You're welcome. You're welcome, students that had me. You're welcome. All right, now what? Well, when you have a function, let's take function f of x is equal to x, absolute value of x plus 3 minus 6. What happens when the plus 3 is connected to the x? That means it's a horizontal what? And it's usually the opposite. Plus means left, and negative means right. This is the only time that you will see the negative going right and the positive going left. This is the only time you'll see it. And if the number is outside of the function, it is not a horizontal shift, but a what? Vertical shift, Hubert. That's right, class. Thank you. What if I have a number out here? This is 1. 1 is your basic model. 1 is the basic model. Anything above 1, if A is above 1, then you have narrow, meaning that it's compressed along the x-axis and it's stretched along the what? Y. If A is a proper fraction, 0 and 1, meaning a fraction, a regular proper fraction, then it is stretched along the x-axis and it's compressed along the y-axis, which means it's going to be what? Wide. Now, all of you, if you had 110 and 109, should be going, oh yeah, I remember all that. Miss Davis, you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
Who else had me before? Come on, speak up. Mr. Moselle, you remember?
Yeah.
Just giggles. Any 109, 110 students that never seen this? Okay, good. Whew. I was worried there for a minute. Now, what else do you need to know to go with this? Well, you need to know how to enforce it. So here we go. F of x is equal to 1/2 x plus 2 quantity squared minus 6. You got a y. This is a regular parabola right here. This is what a regular parabola looks like. This is f of x is equal to x squared. That's what a regular parabola looks like. This says 2 places. Let me highlight this green. So that means 2 places to the left. So I'm going to go 2 places to the left. 1, 2. And I'm going to go 6 places down. This tells me that it's compressed along the x-axis, I meant the y-axis, and it is stretched along the x-axis, so it's going to be what? It's going to be wider than this. Again, 109 students, 110 students, you should be saying, oh yeah, I remember that. Horizontal shift, vertical shift. Yeah, I remember that. That's what you should be saying. F of x is equal x cubed minus 3. Here, the parent graph looks like this. But we have a vertical shift of 3 up, 3 down. So instead of it being at the origin, the actual graph is supposed to be right there. Give me some nods, not my people. How about it? You remember it? Nods. Anybody going, I have no idea? Hopefully not. Okay. So now let's go back to the homework problem. If I can find it. Where'd it go? I hate it when it does this. It hides everything. There we go. So the parent graph is square root x. This guy says, this parent graph, square root x. This guy says x minus 3. Now, since the 3 is inside the function, and it's not outside the radical like a plus 2 or whatever, that means a horizontal shift of 3 to the right. That's your answer. So I would assume the blue is the x. So it looks like it'd be this one right here. That one's not it because that's opposite directions. This is not it because neither one of them are negative, so it's not going that way. So it's either this one or this one. And this one is a negative, so that's not right. So it's got to be Bravo. Now, I put 2 or 3 of these on the test because they're easy points. Hopefully that helps you remember. That parent graph should help you remember also. You're welcome. All right, since y'all don't talk. Let's see, did I do this one? Or is that the one we just did? Somebody help me out. Did we just do R5, 13, 3? Let me look. Y'all ain't gonna tell me. Evidently we did. Well. Yep, we just did that one. All right. R5, 17, 4. R5, 17, 4. And let's see what this one looks like. So far, all these are good test questions. All right, quadratics. Now, before we even start on this, there's 3 or 4 ways to do quadratics. I'm going to write this first. Let's see, I'm not even looking at the directions because I'm going to show you what I want you to be able to do to a quadratic. And those of you that had me, you're fixing to go, oh God, oh God. Yep, completing the square. All right, so here we go. In a quadratic like this, there's 3 ways to solve a quadratic, 3 or 4 ways. One is reverse FOIL. Is it restricted? Yes. Why is it restricted? because if you cannot find the multiples, it's a prime. So that's doing us no good. Shortcuts. Shortcuts are even more restricted than the reverse FOIL. So that's not going to do us no good. The quadratic formula is useless because the quadratic formula, for two reasons, it's useless. The quadratic formula is only used with decimals, and you have to rely on the calculator. So that's useless. So the only thing that's worth anything is completing the square. Now, if you had Math 109 and 110, this should have been drilled in your head. Okay? If you were in high school and they ran away from this and they did this, you didn't get your money's worth. So let's go ahead and complete the square. Now, the squeaky door gets the grease. If you don't know how to complete the square, you better let me know, because you're talking about 3 or 4 problems on the test of completing the square. So first of all, set y equals 0 because you're finding the x-intercepts. So x squared plus 16x plus blank is equal to negative 15 plus blank. A is equal to 1, so we can complete the square. Divide 16 by 2 and square it. 8 squared is 64 and 64. Shortcut number 1 or number 2 gives us x plus 8, quantity squared, equals, I have no idea. All right, negative 15 plus 65 would be 50. So that means 49. Somebody help me out. At this point, you know the vertex. The vertex is equal to negative 8, comma, negative 49. And we're going to solve for x plus 8, quantity squared, is equal to 49. Take the square root of both sides. X plus 8 is equal to positive or negative 7. So therefore, the x-intercepts minus 8 is going to be 7 minus 8, which is negative 1, and negative 15. We got a y-intercept of 15. So now we've got 4 points. I'm going to leave that sitting for a minute because I know there's 1 or 2 of y'all out there going Patrick Starfish on me. Because I doubt very seriously that we've got 100%. Oh yeah, I know how to do complete the square. So I'll address that in just a minute. So we got a BA graph. We got a negative 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 49. Negative 49 is right there. We got a y-intercept of 15. We got a x-intercept of negative 1 and negative 15. Well, that's negative 8. So negative 15 will be down here. So our domain on all squared functions is all real numbers. Range is from negative 49 to infinity, decreasing from negative infinity to negative 8, and increasing from negative 8 to infinity. And the line of symmetry, x is equal to negative 8. What you should do to a quadratic in my class, whether it's calculus or algebra. All right, anybody want to speak up? Anybody good? Give me some nods or some head shakes. I see nods. Okay. Now you're welcome to team me privately or send me an email if you have no idea what I just did. You better, because if I don't hear anything, I'm going to keep on going. And all those that was in my 109, you're welcome. All right, next, let's go ahead and type in the answers. Well, Hubert, how do you know what the question asked? That's all you can do with completing the square. There ain't nothing else to do. And I don't think there's anything they can ask that completing the square can't give you. That's why completing the square should be taught in the Algebra 1. I mean, it should be taught more than anything. But you got teachers that don't know how to do it, so that's what you got. The line blank is the line of symmetry. That's going to be x is equal to -8. X is equal to -8. The parabola opens upward. Oh, I like this question. Select the correct, the x-intercepts are parentheses, -1 or negative, I can't remember, what was it, negative what? -15, -15 comma 0, parentheses, -1 comma 0. Use a comma to separate answers. I bet you $1 they don't want the parentheses. I think they just want -15 comma -1. Oh, okay, they took it. That is a good question. I like that question. You'll see those. You'll see that question again. Next, I hope y'all are knocking some cobwebs. R5 35. R5 35. Okay. Y is equal to 1/9 times 1 over x squared. This tells us we're working on a volcano. What does this tell us? It's going to be what? Stretched along the what? X-axis and compressed along the what? Y-axis, so it's going to be wide. Volcano, it's going to be wide. It's going to be pulled this way. So that means it's going to not go in the corner right here. It's going to be wider. It's going to be pulled like this.
You have a work email.
It's going to be pulled like this, like a rubber band pulling this way. So it's not going to go like this. It's going to be wider. So which one looks like it's being stretched? Well, it's not the half a volcano. It's not the half a volcano here. This one means -9 over x squared. So it has to be Charlie. The domain is -infinity to +infinity. Okay, but you can't use 0. I'm sorry. -infinity to +infinity, but you can't use 0. So that would be parentheses -infinity to 0. You can't use 0, so it gets a parentheses. Union from 0 to infinity. That should be it. What can you not have in a fraction? That's called a question or a cue. I want somebody to say something.
You can't have 0 on the bottom.
Thank you so much. Yes. So I would say that's the domain. And what was wrong with the way I typed it in? Okay, now this is a prime example of what you shouldn't run around in circles running into walls if your homework does this. Does everybody understand that? Just either do it again and try to type it in. I don't know what I did wrong, so I might have used the wrong negative. I don't know. Is this going to stop the world from revolving? No. And if you can't get it to work, then I'll just give you the points on the homework. It's not that big a deal. You're talking about like 0.07 points. Okay? It's not a big deal. I don't know what I did wrong. I have no idea. Anybody got any ideas?
Yeah.
I think
Type the letter
used
U or
a
did you use button?
Okay, let's let ladies go first. I heard a lady in there. What?
I was saying the same thing that he said.
Okay, what did he say? Because y'all were on top of each other.
You typed in a U instead of using like the union symbol.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Who else said that? Thank you, Mr. Crawl. Appreciate the input. If you did this on a test, big deal. I'd give you the points because you understood what union U means. So that I don't care. There, that's not a big deal. But now that we know, make sure you use the button on the bottom instead of typing in a U. Thank you. Brody, watch Jaws yet, Brody? She don't even know what I'm talking about. You and your sister need to watch that. All right. Next. R5 35 7. R5 35 7. R5 35 7. Okay, the person that sent me this, I hope I don't embarrass them, please. I'm not meaning to embarrass you. You said, could we go over the quadratic formula? No, we cannot. Why? Why am I not going over the quadratic formula?
Haven't we already done that?
Nope. We hadn't even done the quadratic formula. Why am I not going over it? I just told y'all in the last problem.
Because you
It
only
doesn't work.
It makes you use your calculator, and you only use the quadratic formula when you got something like this. This is when you use the quadratic formula. 2.21x squared minus 3.21x plus 2.6 equals 0. That's when you use the quadratic formula. And you have to depend on what? The calculator. So we're going to do this by completing the square. Okay, please. I'm not trying to be difficult. I want you to be able to complete the square. So with that being said, x squared minus 4x plus blank is equal to 45 plus blank. What's half of 4?
2.
2. 2 squared is 4. X minus 2, that's shortcut number 2. Quantity squared is equal to 49. You got a vertex of positive 2, negative 49. Solve it. X minus 2 is equal to positive or negative 7.
I can't see your paper.
Say again?
I can't see your paper. It's just the computer.
I'm sorry. I suck. There we go.
Nice.
And 7 plus 2 is 9. And negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. And we got a y-intercept of negative 45. Y-intercept negative 45. So we're ready to draw this guy. I'll give you a minute or two to catch it because I didn't have my paper up. Let me ask some people that had a 110 or a 109 teacher that did the completing the square like the whole semester. What did you find out after you did completing the square about 5 or 6 times or 10 or 15,000 times? What did you find out? Yeah, nobody's going to say anything. Y'all know relationships deserve communication, whether it's business or whether it's friendship or whether it's, you know, a teacher. Communication helps. Y'all do realize that, right? Do y'all do this to all your teachers? Thank you. Appreciate the input. Y'all got this? Hell, they ain't gonna say nothing. Why are you asking?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. So we got a parabola that's got a y-intercept of negative 45. Got a vertex of 1, 2, negative 49. 9 and 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. What I was trying to get at is after you have done completing the square 5 or 10 times, you start to see that it's actually more bang for the buck. You get all the x-intercepts, the vertex, the y-intercept, all of that you get with just one operation. So a lot of people like it. I know I do. Next, let's see what they want. What do they want? Solve. So they want the x-intercept when it says solve. So negative 5 should be the x-intercepts. Wow, that's all they ask you for. Oh yeah, that's right, quadratic formula. That's all it gives you, unless you go back and redo it, and then it gives you the vertex. I bet some of y'all didn't even know that the quadratic formula only gives you the x-intercepts. And you have to go back and redo it and plug back in to get the vertex. And nobody says anything. Thank you. That's the same one. R5-35-7. I believe that's the same one, isn't it? R5-35-7. Yeah, I'm gonna move on because I've already done 2 completing the squares. Do I want you to use quadratic? No, I want you to use completing the square. Next, I'm gonna delete that one. Miss Gammon, are you good? Do you understand what I'm doing? Is she here? Miss Gammon, are you good with using completing the square? Okay, thank you. R5 4910. R5 4910. Is this a test question? So far, all these are good test questions. Okay, b to the negative 3/5. Okay, this is this is a radical expression. So the first thing I'm going to do, b to the negative 3/5. 3/5, not 3/4, 3/5. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a positive what? What do we never want? The negative exponent, Hubert. That's right, class. So we want to make that negative exponent positive. So how do we do that? Flip it over, Hubert. That's right, class. Appreciate y'all interacting. Janitorial office with a piece of plywood over the mop sink. That's where some of y'all are going to have office because you don't communicate. What next? Well, we know that the square root of x to the first power is equal to x to the 1/2, which says exponent over what? Exponent over index. So what does this say? B to the 3rd, take the 5th root. And that's your answer. And again, that should be kind of like, yeah, that's it. That should be review for you. Next question. I'm trying to get all these questions done for you so you can finish the homework or get close to finishing it. Next one. R5 5913. R5 5913. R5 5913. And my son needs to be picked up, but y'all are more important than me being locked up by DSS. All right, so square root of x to the 10th power. Well, remember, the square root of x to the 1st is equal to x to the 1/2. So what's the exponent? X to the 10, Hubert, and divided by 2, which is x to the what? I'm sorry, I suck. There we go. Of course, if somebody would have said something earlier, I would have flipped it over a whole lot earlier, but none of y'all are going to say anything. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come to class and I'm not going to talk. We're just going to sit there and stare at each other. What do y'all think? And I'm going to give you my forehead. There we go. How would you like class where the teacher just stares at you? You would like that or you wouldn't like it? Which one would it be?
Probably wouldn't like it.
Okay, well, remember that when I ask you a question. Thank you. Next. And remember that office that you're gonna have a terrible office. X to the 5th. Now, I like those two questions. Why? They're short and sweet. Next. R5 6114. R5 6114. 1 over the square root of z to the 11th power. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite this. That's going to be 1 over z to the 11th, exponent over index. That's a 2 because there's nothing there. So that'll be 2. And you could rewrite that as z to the negative 11 over 2 if you wanted to, but those are the two answers that you could type in. Remember, some cultures, they don't care about a negative 11 halves. They don't care. I know in Asia, they don't care if it's a negative exponent. Because I had an Asian teacher at Clemson, and she would write negative 11/12, and she would finish the problem. She wouldn't even think about making it positive. Okay? And we asked her about that, and she says, oh, China, we don't care. So there's some, some don't care if it's negative or positive. All right, I'll shut up. Let's see, what did they get? Negative 11/12 should be negative 11/2.
But how do they do it in India?
Say again?
But how do they do it in India?
Okay, don't be doing that. You're gonna offend somebody. My gosh, remember you're in the United States of buttercup, pansies, and snowflakes. I actually said one time, which way do we read? Left or right? And I said, Allah Akbar Masalama. I had somebody complain that I was making fun of Middle Eastern people. I said, go with God, go in peace. I meant, God is great, go in peace. Department head asked the person, what did he say? I don't know. You don't know, you're making a complaint against your teacher, and you don't even know what the teacher said. Well, he was making fun of people. Whatever. This cancel culture, y'all crazy. I mean, in y'all's generation. I mean, not y'all, but this done got ridiculous. R5. I'm gonna complain about my teacher, but I don't know what the hell he said. 73 space 18. Actually, whoever said that, my first teacher at Clemson, my first teacher was from India. If it hadn't been for him, I probably would not have got accepted into Clemson because I had to take that class and make an A out of it. And I think it was linear algebra or something. And he was from India. Can't remember his name. I used to be able to remember his name. But he had one of those long names, and he just shortened it and said, just call me this. I have to ask my sister. He remembers his name for some reason. All right. G of x is equal to the square root of 4 plus 9x. And I've got to stop after this. All right. So 4 plus 9x is equal to 0. So 9x is equal to negative 4. Sorry. And x is equal to negative 4/9. So you got to draw you a number line. 0 is here, negative 4/9 is here, positive 4/9 is here. I'm going to plug in 0. 0 plus 4 is a positive, so I can use these numbers. So I can use numbers from negative 4/9 to infinity. That's your domain. So negative 4/9 to infinity. So it should be this one right here, the one on the left. A lot of people say, well, why not the other? Because you can't plug in, you'll get negative numbers. If you plug in a negative 4, that's going to give you a negative 36. 4 minus 36 is negative 32. You can't take the square root of negative numbers. So there it is right there. All right, that's where we're going to cut off. We're going to finish, hold on, we're going to finish R75. There's only like R5 and R6, so y'all should be on R5, R6, and R7. Y'all should be working on that over the weekend, okay? Go as far as you can. Let's get this review done, okay? Let me go to the handy-dandy, what you call it. Shut this off and shut this off. And I'm going to go to the